everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm sharing with you the process I went through to create this lovely celestial artwork in my sketchbook and how you can take it further digitally as well if you wish. It's a wonderful way to freely experiment with mediums with no real drawing involved, so let's get started. To begin, I taped off the edges of my sketchbook page to keep a nice crisp white border. Then I drew a few circles of various sizes across the page, some overlapping and some going right off the edge to create a feeling of movement and depth. Next, I wet the paper all over and began applying watercolour paints. I'm starting with turquoise and then adding some aquamarine blue. I'm using a large tapered watercolour brush here. It holds a lot of water, which makes it great for covering big areas quickly. I'm not worrying about staying inside the circles. I'm letting the paint overlap, blend, and even creating some pretty splotches by gently tapping the brush over the paper while it's still wet. If you want smaller splotches, you can just do this with a smaller brush. Now for some shimmer. I'm taking a little aqua bronze copper and tapping it across the page, then repeating the same with a bit of aqua bronze gold. This gives the piece a beautiful ethereal look, like stars in the sky or a glowing nebula in the cosmos. Once you're happy with that, set it aside to dry completely before moving on. Now that my painting is dry, I'm going to go in with some white gouache paint on a smaller brush and bring out some of the smaller circles, filling in some of them and outlining others just for some diversity of pattern and variety. Different sizes create a sense of vastness and distance within the scene, which is what you really want for something as cosmic and limitless as space. Next, I'm using a gold Sharpie pen to define more circles with bold outlines. I like to mix up the styles, so some are solid, some dashed, and some have dotted lines. You can double up your strokes as well. Here I'm adding an outer dotted line to one of my larger circles. Just trust your intuition and go with what feels right. There's no wrong way to do it, so just play. This is a white Posca pen, which is good for making nice, bright, clean white marks. Once I've added a few details, I like to go back in with more watercolour to deepen certain areas and balance the composition. I'm adding a darker blue here to make the white circles pop more, and suggesting another circle down in the corner, maybe a distant planet. Some of my marks are bold while others are softer and more blended, which helps create depth in the overall painting. Now I'm bringing in some Prussian blue to add more contrast. This really makes the scene feel more dramatic and striking. Time for another fun medium, gold gouache. I don't use this often, but it's perfect for this project. I'm brushing it along one edge of some circles to emphasise their roundness. And then splattering a little across the page for extra sparkle. Looking at it now, I think a touch more white could bring some areas to life. And of course, a few more splashes because it's always fun to do. I'm coming back in with the gold Posca pen to reinforce some of the lines and add little decorative patterns. Again, just go with what feels good to you. I'm nearly finished with the painting now. I'm just applying some flourishes here and there with the same gold and white colours, adding more shadows and highlights. The last step for me is a bit of black Fineliner. This is totally optional. If you prefer a softer look, you can just skip this. But I was in a bold mood, so I went for it. Even then, I didn't outline everything, just here and there to add some contrast and definition. Finally, peel off your tape and reveal your beautiful celestial artwork. Such glorious cosmic colours and endless wonder. If you'd like, you can also take this a step further digitally. Maybe add some text or create a border like I did here in Photoshop. But even just as it is, it's a lovely piece to keep in your creative sketchbook. Give it a try and experiment with different colours. I think purple, pink and gold would look amazing together too. Thank you so much for going through my process with me. If you found this video enjoyable or helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to see more creative ideas. Catch you next time.